Section 25. Mahamate then asked the Buddha, Bhagavan, please teach us about assertion and denial, so that I and the other bodhisattvas can avoid these two pernicious views and quickly attain unexcelled, complete enlightenment. And, once enlightened, we might avoid eternalistic assertions and nihilistic denials, and not slander the true Dharma. Upon hearing Mahamate's bodhisattva request, the Buddha replied in verse.
Assertions and denials don't exist where there is only mind. As for the body, the world and possessions, unable to see these are mind, and bereft of any wisdom, fools assert and deny.
The Buddha then explained the meaning of this verse and told Mahamate, there are 4 kinds of assertion regarding what is non-existent. And what are the 4? They include assertions of a non-existent characteristic, assertions of a non-existent view, assertions of a non-existent cause, and assertions of a non-existent existence. These are the 4 kinds of assertion. As for denial, this means denying what is asserted because it cannot be grasped or observed. This is what is meant by assertion and denial. Mahamate, as for the assertion of a non-existent characteristic, this refers to becoming attached to a non-existent individual or shared characteristic among the skandhas, the dhatus, or the ayatanas as being like this and not other than this. This is what is meant by the assertion of a non-existent characteristic. Such assertions of a non-existent characteristic are the result of attachment to the habit energy of different mistaken projections without beginning. Mahamate, as for the assertion of non-existent view, this refers to asserting the view of a self, a person, a being, a life, or an individuality among such entities as the skandhas, the dhatus, or the ayatanas. This is what is meant by the assertion of a non-existent view. Mahamate, as for the assertion of a non-existent cause, this refers to an original consciousness which does not arise from causes and would render it unreal or illusory, and which does not subsequently arise by itself, but only arises after eyes, form, light, and memory arise. And once it exists, it ceases. This is what is meant by the assertion of a non-existent cause. Mahamate, as for the assertion of a non-existent existence, this refers to attachment to assertions of the existence of what is uncreated, such as space, cessation, or nirvana. These neither exist nor do not exist. And any dharma that neither exists nor does not exist is like the perception of a rabbit horn, or a horse horn, or a strand of hair. It neither exists nor does not exist. This is what is meant by assertions of a non-existent existence. Assertions and denials are the projections of fools unskilled in examining what are nothing but perceptions of their own minds. This is not true of the wise. Therefore, you should practice avoiding the pernicious views of assertion and denial. Section 26. Furthermore, Mahamate, once bodhisattvas have completely fathomed the characteristics of the mind, the will, and conceptual consciousness, the 5 dharmas, the modes of reality, and the 2 kinds of no-self, in order to help others, they appear in a variety of guises, just as imagined reality is based on dependent reality. And, like magic gems that reflect every color, they appear in every Buddha assembly in every Buddha land, where they hear teachings that transcend those of Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, teachings such as, all dharmas are like an illusion, a dream, a shadow, or moonlight on the water, and avoid the arising or cessation, the permanence or impermanence of all dharmas. And they enter hundreds of thousands of samadhis, countless hundreds of thousands of samadhis. And as they do so, they travel to other Buddha lands and venerate other Buddhas and are reborn in celestial palaces where they praise the three treasures and appear as Buddhas themselves, surrounded by assemblies of Shravakas and Bodhisattvas, and where they liberate beings by explaining to them that what they perceive is nothing but their own mind and that external existence does not exist, thus enabling them to transcend such views as existence and non-existence. The Buddha then repeated the meaning of this in verse.
The world is nothing but mind. This is what bodhisattvas see. In different kinds of bodies, without the slightest effort, they attain higher powers, self-masteries, and accomplishments.